Yo, what's up, y'all, man? By this time, man, y'all know what it is, and y'all know who this is, man. And y'all know what I'm gonna tell y'all, man. Welcome to the Fade Hour. Go ahead and get your drinks, get your smokes ready. I got my drink ready, got my stout ready as usual, and I got my boys with me, man. And let me go ahead and let them introduce themselves, and y'all, we gonna go ahead and get into it tonight already.
What up, world? This your boy News, representing Ringside Rave all day. Y'all know what it is of me, man. Hey, I'm fresh out the shower, man, so I'm real clean, real sober right now. I don't know what this is, man. I don't know how I'm gonna do this fade hour like this. So, I might be able to go like, the first 45 seconds before I gotta start rolling up that sour diesel. You already know what it is with me, man. Let's get it.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke from at Free Smoke Boxing. Per usual, now on the smoke break, I got the water on deck. But hey, if you see a Free Smoke Boxing sticker in your city, take a photo of it. I might have put it up. Anyway, let's get to it.
Yo, what's good, Joe? It's Pat Scorpion, the New England representative. And I guess I'm the only one right now, the first one that actually has some alcohol in front of him. I got me my red wine, you know. So, yeah, man, let's get to this.
What up, y'all? This your boy P. You already know, repping Ringside Rave and Bodega Boxing. And I got my water with me, and I got this leftover dry ass pasta. I'm trying to be healthy today.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. We just we had two promotions. Well, DAZN and Showtime put on cards this past weekend, and let's save DAZN's car and get Showtime shit out the way, man. And let's go straight to the damn main event, which was Easter and Rancis Bartholomew. I was bored. I'm
This
not
shit
sure
looked
about
like garbage.
This shit
but
was horrid.
yeah, man. Let's go ahead and discuss what was that, man, and get our thoughts on that, man. Whoever want to jumpstart. Like I said, I was bored, and I just want to hear how y'all felt about it.
Man,
That
man,
whole car, that whole car was trash.
no, the only bright spot was seeing Fa, the young Nigerian god, get rid of that German cat. Even though the German cat tried to force a DQ, but outside of that, what's bad when Victor Postal, who people don't like on here, had a more entertaining fight than Robert Easter and Rancis Bartholomew. That's
How was that fight, Pat?
huh?
How was that fight?
It was actually decent. It wasn't
Yeah, it
anything
was.
special.
Yeah,
It
it
was
actually.
watchable.
Yeah,
But the main event was trash, right? I mean, I watched the highlights. And it was like 30 seconds of garbage.
Yeah,
There was
no,
like two clean punches.
I've never seen such. I never seen. I don't know if either they were just gun shy or they were drained or they were high. I don't know what it was, but the fact that CompuBox didn't capture anyone landing in double digits in any of the rounds for each fighter is appalling. It was just a whole waste of time. People were falling asleep in the audience. I damn near was falling asleep on my couch watching that.
Yo, CompuBox is optimistic too. Optimistic too.
Yeah. What I'm saying? It was really disgraceful. I mean, Robert,
Disgraceful.
like Bartholomew is whatever, man. But Robert Easter, I mean, my feeling is he needs to move up a way. I'm thinking that 135 is starting to kill him in terms of making the weight. I don't think he belongs at 135 anymore.
News of P. How y'all felt, man? I know News got a lot to say, but I want P to go ahead and speak his piece as well.
I mean, I don't know if it was the weight. That whole fight was trash. Like, Bartholomew wasn't doing nothing. Like, he was just coming in, moving, like waiting for counters that weren't coming. Like, because Easter wasn't throwing enough. So it was basically just a lull fest. So outside, I think I actually had Easter winning by like 115 to 113. I actually scored it, but still, like, that shit was trash. So I don't even want to talk about it.
News.
Oh
Gotta
boy.
pull a P. Listen, man. It's only so many times that I can pull out the Ohio players, man. Like, eventually you can't use the name in vain. That's a legendary group. And that's exactly what the crew of Adrian Broner, Robert Easter, Rasheed Warren was supposed to be. I'm not going to include Sean Porter in this. Adrian Broner, Robert Easter Jr., and Rasheed Warren. The Ohio players, man. And if anything, it lately has just been looking like they've been playing us because I didn't see anything out of Robert Easter that night. I didn't expect him to have any type of real competition with Bartholomew. That fight was horrible. I dozed off midway through the round, woke back. I'm like, is this Laura? Oh no, that's Easter? Like, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's getting disappointing at this point because I hear the whole speech before the fight about how basically switching
New
up going
trainer.
to Kevin Cunningham was the issue, but no, the issue was Mikey
Sounds like
Garcia.
AB.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't Kevin Cunningham, it was Mikey Garcia. That was the issue. No matter who you had, that was going to happen to you. So you go back to your father and then you go back to the same performances we seen prior to Kevin Cunningham. And what that is that you fight into the level of competition. No matter how fast they're going, that's the same amount of speed you're going to run. No matter if you're faster than them. So with that being said, I'm going to lead that to a behind the scenes question or comments we had the other day. When I said, I think that Robert Easter's maxed out. I know Pat said that he think he can move up and all this, and he's maxed out at the weight, but I think the talent's maxed out.
Right.
From
What
what I'm
did
seeing,
what did Errol
I'm not
Spence
seeing the
say?
competition versus the A fighter.
Didn't Errol Spence have something to say about that?
He said he should move up. But moving up in weight don't cure your problems.
I was just about to say that. I was just thinking that. I was like, moving up in weight gonna do what against who?
Yeah, like why do you have to move up in weight to stop Dennis Sheffico from giving you a tough night?
So here's what I'll say on that. Robert Easter always has the reach advantage. He's always taller, at least at this weight class, for the most part. And you saw someone, Mikey Garcia, get dominated by a fighter that had a reach advantage over him, who's obviously much better than Easter, but he employed the stick and move tactic, and it's like Robert Easter doesn't even jab, he doesn't even set anything up. I don't have to watch the fight to know that.
Yep.
And I just look at it like, man, again, what does moving up from the smaller guys at 135 do for you? I know you could say, well, he
He's
gives
gonna
me
get
5
knocked
more
out.
pounds, but you running up to who? Regis, Mikey Garcia, like
Right.
Robert Easter had a tough time with Richard Cumming. How's he gonna deal with Regis? So for me, I don't see 140 being the answer. I think we seen the best of Robert Easter. He's a B fighter. It is what it is.
Right. Say nothing wrong with that. They gotta be beef. Somebody gotta be
Right.
the B fighter out there.
Yep.
You know what I'm
B
saying?
or B minus.
He's the
I got a
lowest
solid
tier.
B.
Right. He's in the second tier.
Is it a good win for Mikey Garcia?
Yeah, because Mikey Garcia is the one that exposed them totally. So it would always
Right.
be whoever does the first exposure always gets the props. If it went for Mikey Garcia doing it, even though Kami, like I said, Shafakov, Fortuna, even though they all troubled him, Mikey Garcia is the one that showed that
he
he's not an
distanced
A fighter
himself.
at 135.
Right.
I think that Robert Easter could benefit from signing with Eddie Hearn or someone related to DAZN, because they'll have him fighting like often.
That's true. Possibly.
And if you fight a bunch of bums or something like that, or not bums, complete bums, but you guys know what I'm talking about,
Tune up.
stuff, you gain confidence and so on and so forth. I think that'd be good for him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think as he was away for 8 months, he probably should have had a lower profile fight than Francis Barthélemy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
What? How much lower?
like the cats that used to fight on Bounce, PBC on Bounce.
And that's my problem. A fighters don't bounce back
Why?
with those type of fighters. And that just shows where you think he is, because all he did was lose to Mikey Garcia. He had 8 nights off. He come back and he fights for a championship. That's what elite fighters should do. And they should beat Francis Barthélemy in their first fight back, because Francis Barthélemy is not on the A-level fighters level.
Right.
But he didn't. Unfortunately, he fought to the same level of him, which doesn't give me any hopes for him beating a Teofimo Lopez who decides to move up to 135. Doesn't give me any hopes of him ever beating a Tank if he decides to move up to 135. A Tevin Farmer at 135. Definitely don't put him in the ring with Loma. So it makes me think, like, what do I do? Then I take him up to 140?
or
They punch harder.
anything like that. Older.
Wait, what do they do at 140 News?
They punch harder. The
Yeah.
boys punch at 140. At 140, that's kind of like, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like that middle for 135. It's almost like that gap between, I want to say, like middleweight and light heavy. It's like going to super middleweight.
It's like that bridge. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and everybody can't do 135 to 140. They get fall off immediately.
Yeah, I remember Juan Diaz was one that fell off immediately, getting rocked by Paulie Malignaggi.
Mm-hmm. Shit. And shit. Speaking of 140, quickly, man. I want to get y'all thoughts on Regis. And his victory and stoppage of Relic, and get y'all thoughts on that. That as well.
He whooped that boy's ass straight up and down, man. Relic had nothing for him, and Relic's a tough guy, but he was overmatched. He was dropped in the first round, and then just took a slow, steady beating, until the ref was like, nah, bruh. Yeah, like he was bleeding like from his nose. Shit was a wrap.
He got saved from being stretched out. Pause.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So now Regis doesn't have to carry around that interim belt no more. He's a legit WBA 140 champion.
Right.
And now we're gonna patiently wait for the winner of Baranchuk and Taylor. Obviously, most of us obviously I think all want Taylor to win, so you can actually see like two top 140 prospects battle out for unification at 140. Definitely props to him, and especially I like this interview because he was real live in his interview, because he was like these young boys can't fuck with him, and I was like, okay, yeah, you did you did put this dude away that had never been stopped before, so yeah, talk your shit, young man, talk your shit.
Yeah, he earned it.
Yeah.
I've been on the Regis bandwagon since the beginning, man. I've always said I don't want to see him versus AB. I've always said that. And I don't want to see Regis. I still don't. I don't want to see Regis versus anybody at 140, because I think Regis is the best at 140, like I've been saying. The dude punches too hard. But the crazy thing about it is that sometimes you get fighters who punch hard, who aren't aggressive, and he's one of those fighters who are. Like, he will come out, he will seek to take you out. If he hits you, and you show any type of, you show anything, he's after you.
Yeah, he's after you. He's willing for you to actually switch gears. I think he's like a Crawford in a way. He can actually like chill and box you, but if he thinks you're hurt, the motherfucker turns into a straight up demon. Yeah.
Smoke and P, were y'all able to continue the fight or the highlights of it?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't, but I do know this. Regis has a very awkward but impressive style. And, until Josh Taylor, I didn't think anyone was going to give him trouble. So hopefully Taylor wins and we can see that matchup, and I'll watch it. But salute to Regis. He's a really, really good fighter. I want to see him versus Mikey Garcia, but someone said Mikey was going to try and get a belt at 147, which I don't
You gotta stop this shit, man. You gotta stop this shit, man. But that's another day, man. P, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. I was want to get your thoughts on the Regis fight if you were able to see it or catch any of the highlights, or anything about it.
No, I caught it. I caught it. What can you say? Progress is a beast. I've been saying that. I don't think, and like Smoke said, I don't think anybody other than Taylor will give him any trouble. So that's just the fight I want to see. Progress Taylor.
Gotcha.
He's a beast. Nothing more to say.
Gotcha. No doubt, man. And let's just go ahead and stay to one. Let's stay at 140 right now. I want to say yesterday or today or something, news came out that Broner was saying that 140 is going to be his staying weight right now as far as where he wants to fight at. And that was offline. There was discussions about that in our group chat. So I just wanted to bring it to the forefront so the people can hear about what we was talking about, man. So news, you was adamant about it. You like the move, so give us your thoughts why you like the move.
Man, I've been saying this since 2000 and what? 14? 2015?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't believe that Adrian Broner belongs anywhere above 140. The dude's only 5'7". Yeah, people say, well, he gets big. I mean, listen, he's a fat boy. It is what it is. He's still 5'7". Like, I don't understand that because his body, because he gets out. That's why he gets out of shape so fast when he's only 160 something pounds, because he's not supposed to be that size. He's small. If I was 140 and I was 160, I would still look skinny because I'm much bigger than him. The thing is with AB, with his skill, his power, it maxes out. Everything maxes out at 140 for me. For me, the guys at 147 should be at 154. Some of them, they're just naturally bigger than him. So you giving away the size advantage. The guys are just as fast. Some of them have better boxing abilities than you. Then what are you doing? Going against guys who got a size advantage over you? Nah, don't let the people do you like that. Go back to 140. This is where you max out at. Go in there because they say, well, there's nobody at 140. Huh?
Who does he fight?
He fights the same people that Regis is fighting. The same people that Josh Taylor had to fight. He fights Josh Taylor. He fights.
The thing is, he's got under the PBC umbrella. I mean, we talk about the PBC 140 pounders.
Anybody. It's under the Adrian Broner umbrella. He can fight anybody.
Yeah, get him rebuilt at 140.
Yeah, he can fight anybody.
He can fight at Broner weight.
He fought John Molina. He fought Ashley Theophane.
Yeah,
like,
but
he can fight anybody.
Fighters, though.
Apparently, I don't know, but they'll find somebody, and we gonna watch.
He can fight anybody.
He should, if he really wants to stay at 140, he should fight there like 3 times a year.
And once upon a time, he did. He was he used to fight.
I know.
Once upon a time. Now, who knows?
That's
what
for
he's
every
doing.
boxer, pretty much.
I mean, like I said, I just can't. I mean, with Broner, it's just like, I'm actually one of the long-time distractors. I never thought he was anything special. I'm like the opposite of news with news thinks Broner was some sort of. I never thought he was. And the one thing that always came about Broner was his lack of discipline. And I never liked how he got rid of the 130 belt. He basically bullshitted that belt off, and that pretty much PO'd me off actually watching that. And I was like, yeah, this boy's gonna self-destruct. And here he is. He's in a slide right now. And it's just like what weight he's gonna be at, and it's just like, he's not focused. And it's like I hear 140, I'm just gonna like, okay, he's gonna fight at 140. Who's he gonna fight? Is he gonna fight? Is he gonna win the damn fight? Is he gonna struggle? It's just like, Broner's on a little slide right now.
Right.
That points to say that he'll probably turn it around anytime soon.
At 140, though?
I mean, the last time he was at 140, well, no, the Mike I see he was at 140. Before that, he lost the 140 belt on the scales.
But there's nobody that can beat him in the ring at 140, but pretty much Regis. Like, at the end of the day, when he was back at 140, everybody was on the same thing. Oh, Adrian Broner needs to move up. He needs to fight these, and you throw out some A fighter. That's it. It's the same circle. It's the same circle we're gonna do again when you go to 140. You're gonna go and beat up on these relics. He's gonna go up and beat up on these bums like Troyanovsky and all these Julius Ndagus who win championships and become names, but they're bums because if Adrian Broner beat them, they're scrubs. So
but the thing is, when he was his time at 140, he wasn't really facing any of the 140 elite, except for Khabib, who was actually one of the
elite. Come on,
he only fought twice at 140 though. Recently, he fought Khabib, then he fought Theophane. That was it. Then he fought Granados at welterweight.
He had other fights. He had Carlos Molina, the non-talented Carlos Molina, and Emmanuel Taylor, who he actually struggled with a little bit.
And Mikey.
Yeah, and then Mike.
No, those are gaps in between though. In between those, he jumped up to welterweight. Like those are gaps in between. Yeah, he did. He beat Carlos Molina. He beat Emmanuel Taylor. He beat John Molina Jr. He beat Khabib. He beat Ashley Theophane. Relic is not. I mean, I understand what y'all saying, but think about what you're saying on the other side. Who is better than these fighters? They're not good fighters at 140 either. That's my whole point. Only people there is Regis and Josh Taylor.
You know what? Today, I bet as of today, that this very second, I bet some people would take Ray Beltran over him.
I wish they would, because the bet odds never say that. People say what they want to say, but yeah, every time I see a fight, Adrian Broner always the favorite, and it definitely ain't his fans because Adrian Broner fan base, we don't really bet on boxing like that. So
I mean, at 140,
who is it?
I mean, at 140, there's the champions. There's Prograis, there's Taylor, there's Hooker, there's Ramirez. These are the 140 champions.
And Baranchik for now.
Yeah, Baranchik too. Actually, no, Taylor's not a champion. What am I talking about? Yeah.
Well, Ramirez is on the other side, so you could throw him out. That's not a viable option. Throw him out.
Yeah. And now, obviously, there's probably like the lower, like the next 10. There's like your Relics or your Terry Flanagan's or your he actually goes back to getting KO'd, or the young boy Ulysses Jr. who had a nice fight this past week. 140 is in a rebuild. It's just like, where does Broner fit into this? Okay. Is he going to any of these cats?
Right at the top.
Basically at 140, Broner would have to really show separation. Like, it can't be doing like we did at 147, like struggling with the likes of Jesse Vargas and shit like that. It has to be pure separation. Whether he's actually belongs with the elite of 140, or is he just gonna be in the middle or a jobber at 140? It's just he's the right people.
A big part.
I guarantee you, Broner go to 140, he'll be a champion before this time next year. I guarantee it. These bums that's at 140 that are masquerading, I'm happy we having this episode because I'm going to be able to bring it back when he beats these bums. And I'm going to say, but y'all was acting like there was some competition at 140. Who? Like, we're talking about 140 here. These guys are not fighters that you would even pick over Adrian Broner. You would begrudgingly say, well, I think he's going to beat Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner beats him. Well, he didn't beat him widely enough. You said he was going to lose.
Who?
Period. That's the same. It's the same responses over and over.
Yeah.
What you were saying? Run that back. Smoke. You got cut off a little bit.
So who are the champs at 140 right now? You got
Ramirez, Baranchik, Prograis, and Hooker.
Okay, so does Broner beat any of them?
Yes, he beats all of them but Prograis. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
all of them. Yeah. We on record because we live.
Hooker and him would.
I think Hooker and him would be a good fight.
Yeah, that'd be about 50-50.
Ramirez would be too much.
Yeah, I think he will overwhelm Ramirez, in my opinion. I don't know about everybody else think.
Yeah, I don't care about
Then again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of Broner anymore. So I don't know.
The one thing with Broner, he doesn't let his hands go. That's the one thing. If he doesn't let his hands go, he's like Danny Garcia in the way. If he doesn't let his hands go, then you get the issues. And that's the big part of it. Like, obviously if he has the power advantage, but he still fights like he's at 130, 135. Yeah,
right.
Then he could probably go in and try to blast these cats out. But if he doesn't, he stays in the pocket and just tries to counter over and over while they outwork him, and you can't just do that all the time. So that's
at 147. You can do that 140.
I mean, we have to see. I mean, we would have to see if that's the case. Like, will he let his hands go at 140? I mean, depends on. I mean, we have to see like constant evidence of that before I can say, hey, he'll beat this champion, or he'll beat that champion, or he'll beat this contender, he'll beat that contender.
Gotcha. But shit, man, you know what? Let's not drag this out even more, man. We did get word today about Joshua and Andy Ruiz. I mean, it was either him or Hunter, because we heard Ortiz was offered 7.5 and didn't think that was enough, so they moved on, and here we are. So they gonna try to salvage it with Andy Ruiz, and hey, I mean PBC, they let it happen. So
yeah, I mean that's the big picture. They let a PBC fighter happen, which is like which means like there should be little to no issues trying to make fights with other PBC heavyweights in the future, especially since this one go over to the zone.
But this is cannon fodder. It doesn't count. I've always said that the two brands don't mind working together when one side is bringing over cannon fodder.
Yeah. Right. That's true.
I mean, I wouldn't call Ruiz cannon fodder. I mean, he only has.
No. In this case, he's cannon fodder. Let's not kid ourselves.
But he's also a better fighter than Big Baby is. So it's just like. I mean, even if you do, then if you don't, I mean, Andy Ruiz is a lesser evil. I like his skills, but I just don't like the fact that he's aerial.
Conditioning.
Was that?
I said you hate his conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't stand. I just don't like fighters who don't give themselves the best chance to win. And when he come in sloppy over, it's just like it aggravates that living hell out of me. So it's like. I'm happy. Yeah, he's gonna get a shot, but I'm just like, I'm not. I mean, he will probably challenge Joshua more than Big Baby will, but it's just like it could be a fight that may not be the most exciting fight to watch.
I mean, I think it's the best fight we could get with this time frame that they got as well.
Right. I'm just disgusted with Anthony Joshua's streak of opponents, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna just put it out there. And I let Eddie Hearn, that's for them to do. They should have had a fighter. What happened to the old days where elite promoters used to have good fighters on standby? What happened to that?
I don't think that's ever been the case. Some of them, like, there's some, I mean, they've had some really horrid cats,
Only thing I'm thinking of, who else could they have on the zone, or they can get on, like, I don't know who else they could have gotten. That's it wasn't like a lot of people.
I mean, it wasn't like I wanted Kanaki or something like that. Hunter, I did not want. I mean, only because, like I said, I saw Hunter almost get killed by Usyk. I'm like, he doesn't need to be thrown into the fire like that again. Yeah, because he had like minimal experience at heavyweight. I didn't want to see that shit because I knew that was going to happen. I mean, Ruiz at least has some experience at the top level at the division. But it's not. I mean, it's not like heavyweights. It's like like heavyweights. It's very top heavy. There's the ones that everyone knows, and then after that, like at the top 4 or 5, and then it falls off the cliff.
And news. What were you You alluded to his streak of opponents. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. I mean, definitely want you to get that off.
No, man. It's just like I'm just not enthused with it. Like. I mean, I know he got the Povetkin, but it wasn't even a roided up Povetkin at least. I mean, I know they don't want to. That's the only Povetkin that was the only Povetkin that had a name. Was a roided up one. He fought the roidless Povetkin. Get that bum out of here. He fought Takam. He fought Joseph Parker. Like, come on, man, Joseph Parker.
Joseph Parker was the heavyweight champion. He had to take that belt.
Man, come on, man. I love how when it's your fighters. No matter what little rinky-dink title they got, we know.
Parker was a WBO heavyweight champion.
Dude, we can say we know what title he had. He was a bum. I hear you, but at the end of the day, he was a bum. That don't change the fact Charles Martin had a belt too. Should I just say? That don't mean nothing. He's a scrub. Joseph Parker's a bum. Did you see Joseph Parker after Anthony Joshua?
Oh, Dillian White.
All right, then what happened?
One of them he lost, the other one he
Got
won.
knocked down
All right,
twice.
so he lost to Dylan White. Has Dylan White ever been a champion? No. So it don't matter if Joseph Parker was a champion. He's not even as good as Dylan White. He's a bum. So again, that
Dylan
bum,
White been the
Carlos taking,
Intercontinental.
is a bum.
He actually became a champion.
Who did Joseph Parker beat, Pat?
He beat Andy Ruiz for a vacant belt because Tyson Fury got stripped because he didn't fulfill some.
Oh yeah, Parker.
Come on, no, I want to hear. I want to hear
Fury,
Joseph Parker's resume here.
Fury's brother, cousin.
He won a majority draw. I mean, a majority decision versus Fury before he fought Joshua. Got beat up by Dylan White. Beat nobody else. Got a majority draw over this Mexican that Joshua was about to fight this weekend. Andy Ruiz, Pat. You about to cake for Andy Ruiz, Pat? In order to defend Joshua, like really?
Only has that one. Is hold on, fighting PBC buck.
The thing is, Pat, it's not about PBC here. You're the only person bringing up the PBC. I'm talking about his resume.
No, I am bringing up PBC because the PBC heavyweights, that's all he's faced. He hasn't gone outside the PBC circle. He's bubbled right now.
Dude, nobody believes in Andy Ruiz. We've seen him fight 33 times. Not one fight has he impressed any of us. What are we talking about here? This is Andy Ruiz. We about to gas him up now because he got picked by Joshua.
Are you really going to tell me that he is more than cannon fodder? Because I would not accept.
This is ridiculous. Andy Ruiz is legit. He's not. He's a C heavyweight. Come on, man. We ain't seen Andy Ruiz beat nobody. I'm not going to lie to Eddie Hearn. Don't send us no checks.
I have. I know. I've talked about.
You ain't seen him beat nobody, Pat. He's beat nobody. So what are we talking about here?
What are we talking about?
Yeah, we not about to cake for Andrew Ruiz. We not about to do that. He's a C-level heavyweight. Anthony Joshua's about to fight a C-level heavyweight. Like I said, his streak of opponents, I'm not impressed with. Povetkin without the roids, Andy Ruiz, who's a off-brand version of a prime Chris Arreola. He ain't even had Chris Arreola's success, and you talk bad about Chris Arreola when he fought Wilder. But yeah, he fighting Andrew Ruiz.
I don't think. Well, nobody at heavyweight really got the great resume though.
Come on, man. I'm never to give no props to no Andy Ruiz.
Chris Arreola.
Everybody at heavyweight got a question.
Andy Ruiz has fought 12 rounds in his career one time. I'm not talking about Andy Ruiz. He's been scheduled for one. I'm sorry, not fought. Scheduled for 1 12-rounder in his entire 33-fight career.
Let me just say that I'm off principle, not fucking with no heavyweight with the last name Ruiz. So that's all I got to say about that.
This dude just told us about how sloppy he was, how out of shape he be. Well, we think he gonna get his body in shape in a month? He already sloppy. If he's sloppy showing up with 10 weeks of camp, how you think he gonna show up before?
Yeah, okay, he getting paid.
Exactly.
I'm not impressed, man. I'm not impressed. I need to see more. This is the heavyweight champion of the world. I need to see better opponents. Now, we talking about pay-per-view. We talking about pushing fights back for years to make it bigger and better with who? We ain't seen this man fight since last September. He come to our territory, the United States, and fights Andy Ruiz.
Well, Big Baby.
Yeah, he was going to fight Big Baby.
Eddie Hearn's supposed to have it lined up, man. Eddie Hearn's supposed to have it lined up. You ain't supposed to let it fall. You ain't supposed to let you only had plan A. Now that falls over, and all of a sudden you scrambling. How? This is your debut.
Well, news. You got to remember though, they did try to make it with Ortiz.
You didn't have nothing lined up with Ortiz. You can't just call me about the blue. Hey, you want to fight Anthony Joshua in 5 weeks? No.
I don't know, bro.
I'm not going to jump in the fight.
If you're not heavyweight that fights 3 times in a year minimum, then you should always be ready to fight. And
none of these heavyweights fight 3 times a year.
People should be jumping at just to become heavyweight champion of the world. Why that's not the case? That's another question. Titles shots don't come every people.
What you say, Smoke?
They should have paid Ortiz $10 million because that was a good fight.
Why?
$10 million?
Because they needed Ruiz. I mean, they needed.
They only earned $500,000 against Wilder. Why would you give him $10 million?
Because you need him.
Hold up. What's the difference if you're Eddie Hearn or whoever is paying the check between $5 million and $10 million? That's $5 million in a production that's going to cost like $100 million.
They
The
gave
market.
They gave him $5 million. That was the offer. He wanted $8 million or
So I'm
something
saying, like
that.
him versus Andy Ruiz doesn't move anyone. Him versus Luis Ortiz,
Sales the
that
fight.
yeah, that's like a good fight. I'll watch that fight.
We all would.
Like,
None of
I'll
us are
go out
watching
my
him
way.
versus Ruiz. I'm not
I
watching
won't.
that.
It doesn't
Yeah,
mean. I mean,
no, I
Andy Ruiz and Ortiz doesn't really mean anything to me right now. Ortiz shit the bed against Christian Hammer. That it really doesn't matter to me for the vote.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, 10
Matt,
million, though, bro.
outlier.
I don't know, man. At 10 to say 10
I
million,
mean, either way, Ortiz fumbled the bag, and that's why that's why he's not getting
right?
the title
Because they was the one saying, "I'll fight with Joshua. We'll fight him X, Y, and Z," and then they tried to make it, and then they trying to say that wasn't the right amount.
And then Hearn was going to expose them, and then they came clean. Like, okay, yeah. They were correct with the offer. Blah blah blah. This and and fuck it. They fucked up. That's what happened with Ortiz.
For me, I just look at it like it's not on Ortiz. He wasn't scheduled to fight. I feel like it's on the promoter. Like you coming to New York City, you putting on a fight. You talking about the heavyweight champion of the world's coming to fight Andy Ruiz. I'm not watching that fight.
So
it's on you to sell the fight. I can't say Luis Ortiz.
So
it's on him to accept an offer you want to throw at me, and if not, it's on you for making the card. No, it's on your promoter for not having a backup plan.
So
like in what form of life do we not have to have a backup plan?
So whose fault was it when Wilder and Povetkin got canceled because Povetkin popped dirty, and then he ended up having to go fight fucking Stavern again? Whose fault was that?
Whose fault was it?
Didn't he have to fight?
Trash fight. Everyone knows that.
Right,
Yeah,
and nobody bigged up Stavern, and then also
the problem. Should Heyman have had a better fighter on standby other than
No, because the difference here is that he's not going across to the United Kingdom to fight Bemar Stavern. Joshua's coming to the United States. This is what his statement fight. What do you mean what I'm talking about? What do you mean?
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they're coming from. A shitty replacement is a shitty replacement news.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's the same. It's Anthony Joshua fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. is not the same as Deontay Wilder fighting Bermain Stavern because of another fight, because of an injury.
It's
not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same because of some of the he's coming over. Anthony. All right.
It's the same damn thing. I don't understand how.
Didn't Wilder have to fight Areola because of Brown Pop Dirty?
What's that?
Didn't Wilder have to fight Areola because of Lucas Brown Pop Dirty or some shit like that?
Yeah, but like.
Oh no, was a Molina?
I don't think it was
Brown. Or Molina?
Molina
or some shit.
Other Russian cat, but I think it was either Molina or because I know Wilder was some Russian cat that popped dirty for steroids, and then I think it was Molina.
Basically, my thing is this, man. Stop trying to grab for straws. Like nobody is caping for it. Wait, Pat. Wait a minute. You just talking is not going to get your point across. It just sounds like you talking when I'm talking.
Your point doesn't make any sense.
My point make a lot of sense, bro. At the end of the day, listen, man. Stop caping for Joshua. The fight is garbage. We knew Deontay Wilder versus Stavern was garbage. You sitting here bigging up Andy Ruiz. Like how crazy do you sound?
I'm not bigging him up. I'm bigging up.
You are bigging him up. You out here talking about, he's not as bad, dude. This dude Andy Ruiz is a bum.
Like I said, because either Andy Ruiz, Michael Hunter, Luis Ortiz, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care about any of those fights. That's the thing.
So let the people who do talk about it. I do. If the heavyweight champion of the world is coming to the United States to fight, I don't want to see the guy that has 3 to 4 belts fighting a bum like Andy Ruiz. Period. Like nobody's gonna watch that fight. No matter how much, like, there's no way you could spin it. It's a garbage fight. You bringing up Deontay Wilder fight Stavern, we knew that was a garbage fight. We seen Deontay Wilder beat him already. We knew it, but we ain't make up an excuses for Stavern. That's the difference.
I'm not making excuses for Reed.
You made plenty of excuses for Reed.
That's the thing. I'm not making
plenty of excuses for Reed.
I don't care about this fight. It's just the lesser evil. Either that or Michael Hunter. Either way, it'll just be like whatever.
Why though? Why can't we see the best fight, the best opponent that's available? If Michael Hunter is available, why shouldn't he be the opponent?
Michael Hunter, I don't think is the best opponent available. That's the thing. I already explained that part.
Well, explain it to the people. They don't know.
No,
Explain why Michael Hunter is not better than Andy Ruiz. Explain that.
Michael Hunter, or for one thing, got thrown to the wolves. He got destroyed by Usyk, and then he's only fought lower level heavyweights, in like maybe one or two of them. Since then, like he's only had like 14, 15 fights. He's not ready for Joshua. It's
right, but
like,
the dude, but
Ruiz,
so he gets destroyed by
Usyk. Actually,
he's not ready. But this dude
gets upper level heavyweights. Yes.
Hey, man. This dude lost to Joseph Parker, man. Like, I don't think you realize how whack Joseph Parker is.
Actually, I do.
Right, and this is his leftovers fighting Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight championship of the world. I'm not happy with that.
U.S. debut.
This dude lost to Joseph Parker, and you just admitted how whack Joseph Parker is. Right, his leftovers is fighting for the championship. That's why I'm pissed about it. I'm tired of fights like that. You the promoter. You the promoter. Have 3 or 4 legit opponents lined up. Your fighter is coming across seas to make an impact in another country and to another fan base that do not know you.
No promoter has 2 or 3 or 4.
Man, it's not about like let's address Eddie Hearn and like we talking about 2 or 3 and 2 or 3. No other promoter has a Anthony Joshua
because they have to go down because they have ratings. They have to go down the actual rankings of their titles or whatever.
When you sign a fight with Jarrell Miller. You sign a fight with another fighter just in case a Jarrell Miller who has popped dirty before pops dirty.
That only happens in like tournaments. That only happens if you're doing a tournament like World Boxing Super Series, where that's like or a Super Six. That's not something that promoters do. It's usually because if the original opponent pops dirty, then they have to go down the rating to see who's actually available.
I mean, I would honestly much rather have seen him against, and I hate to even say this. And Mal, forgive me. I would have much rather have seen him against Dillian White. Yeah, so, Mal, I don't.
You know how we feel about him.
Yeah.
Didn't Dillian White ask for that fight?
Come on. So I mean, let's be real with the people. It's trash fight.
Well, it don't it all. It just all go back to the Super Soldier popping dirty, but I think a lot of people wasn't even hyped for that fight too. I think that's what news
we wasn't
said.
hyped for that.
I wasn't hyped for it.
No.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier fucked it up, even though we all was going to pick Joshua anyways. But I don't know, man.
W15-16 had a chance because he's like 320 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean.
Full of 3 HGH and all types of other shit.
Does Ruiz have a puncher's chance? I've never.
No.
He has no chance. He has no chance.
Yeah.
We have a better chance. Forget asking, does he have a chance? We have more of a chance of asking, is he going to even make it 5 rounds? Is he going to make it 6? Let's bet that. Let's talk about it. Is he going to make it 6 rounds?
Nope.
It's a horrible fight.
No.
That's a garbage fight to debut over in the United States with. At the end of the day, like push the fight back or something.
Hey,
like
Pete.
You can't make it like it's we have to have it on June 1st because we have it. Well, if it's that big of a fight, then make sure you have an opponent so it don't fall through. Pete. At the end of the day, talk boxing, but I talk business. I do business in real life, and that's not business. You don't never do anything with something that's that important. That type of marketing is set up, or that type of promotion is set up, and you have no type of backup just in case it falls through. You just, it's an important day. We have all our sponsors, but I only have Jarrell Miller. That's it. But no other promoter do it. But no other promoters doing this. That's what I'm saying.
Yo, so
go ahead, Smoke.
I got a question for P. P, you live in New York. If someone said, "Hey, for $100, you can have like level 200 tickets to this fight," would you do it?
Fuck no.
I mean, people, let's be real. That says it pretty much, right?
But would you say that the same for Michael Hunter?
Let me put it like this: if I bought tickets to see Joshua versus Miller, and that shit with the shit happened with Miller, I would have been asking for my money back. I would have wanted a refund immediately. No, unless it would have been Ortiz, I would have wanted my money back. That's just me, though.
Right. That's what I was just saying. Push the fight back. Like, why can't we push the date back? We don't want to see him versus Andy. We don't want to see Anthony Joshua that bad. That we want to see him versus Andy Ruiz. We don't want to see the WBA, WBO, the IBF heavyweight championship of the world defended against Andy Ruiz. We don't want to see that. We don't even want to talk about that fight. We don't want to recap that fight.
The sad
Andy Ruiz came into the ring, got a shape. Anthony Joshua started off from the opening bell, got Andy Ruiz in there got him up out of there in under 5 rounds. The end. That's the fight. And then Anthony Joshua talked trash, called out Deontay Wilder. That's the fight. We already know what's going to happen. Why do we have to see that?
Now, then here's the other question. Besides Dillian White, who are the available heavyweights for this that we would see? I mean, Ortiz was, that's done. Who else?
Yeah, even if they pushed it back.
Because, like I said before, heavyweight is top heavy. After the first 4 or 5, it goes down. Goes down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they
push
it back to July.
In there that most people do not like that have rankings for these 4 sanctioning bodies. So if it's not Ruiz, it could be fucking even Fresno Kendo is like number 3 for WBA for some odd fucking reason. There's a Rivas. There's a whole bunch of German cats on there. There's a whole bunch of strange motherfuckers at heavyweight ranking. Like it's not like that the division is populated with fucking stars. If the 3 or 4 people you want to see are not available, then it's gonna go down the rabbit hole.
BTR, better than Ruiz.
There are fighters way worse than Andy Ruiz on the ratings.
You know what? Y'all, let's not drag it out. Let's go ahead and we were gonna get started on a Canelo and Jacobs, but since this has been a spirited welcome back Monday, I think it's better to go ahead and stop now and save that to the next time we get up, so we can get at the appropriate time that that fight needs, and we'll probably hand out predictions and stuff for that fight on the next cast as well.
I just can't take it, man. Like. I just can't, man. Andy Ruiz, I never expected that conversation. Like, I remember I'm just pulling up random stuff and I'm looking here and seeing how Michael Hunter, and I know it was the amateurs, but since we brought up he only had 15 fights, I'm hearing about how, come on, man. Like, I'm not trying to see Andy Ruiz, man. I don't care. It's not up to me. And I hate that question when people say, well, who else should he fight? That's up to his promoter. That's my whole point. Why are you asking us on the spot, but not asking Eddie Hearn 3 months ago? He should have had fighters lined up. If Luis Ortiz didn't have a fight and you knew you were fighting Jarrell Miller, why not call over to PBC and tell him to be waiting in the wings just in case you may need him to fight? Why not? That fighters would do that. Because
Heyman controls Ortiz. Ortiz doesn't make a move without Heyman.
Heyman controls Ruiz too.
Cannon fodder.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's cannon fodder.
Exactly. I'm gonna leave it on that one.
That would fight him either way. It's one or the other. Heavyweight is top heavy. It's not a live division. You get.
Yeah. We're gonna have questions if until it's Wilder versus Joshua, we gonna question whoever they fight next. Because when it's Wilder,
there's other fights that could be made. Joshua versus Fury could be made. Joshua versus Ortiz can be made. Joshua versus Wilder needs to be made. Joshua versus Usyk, that's coming down the line. Joshua versus Ajagbe, whatever his name is, F.A. Ajagbe, that's coming down the line. Man, until then, these fights against Andy Ruiz, I only want to see these as, you know what I'm saying? These are the fights where I had a hard streak of opponents. I just fought I wouldn't mind Andy Ruiz if he was coming off back-to-backs versus Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury or something, or even Fury and Ortiz. I wouldn't mind it. I just don't like it off of Povetkin and Takam. I know people could say, well, Big Baby fell out, but that's not our problem. We're the fans. You're supposed to please us. Remember that. Don't talk to me like we're part of the business, because if I was part of the business, I would have had fighters lined up. It just is what it is. We're all fans. I'm not pleased. I'm not watching it. That's why I still ain't got my DAZN. I'm not doing DAZN. So DAZN start putting on a good fight. I'm not doing it. Canelo versus Jacobs is good. That's a good one. Canelo versus Jacobs. That's the only one. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I need good cards, man.
Technically, they've had the
main
best
events.
they've had the best card this year, but that's another card.
I need. They ain't had the best main event. I'm looking for main events, man. We pay money for main events.
I don't. I pay it.
When's the last fight that you went to, Pat? That you went to for the undercard, Pat?
I pay for everything.
What's the last fight that you went to strictly for the undercard, Pat?
Huh?
What's the last fight that you went to strictly for the undercard, Pat?
Now, let's see. That will probably be the two fights that I went to. Probably the one where fucking Hooker faced whatchamacallit, Les Pierre on the Bivol and Smith one. I mean, I had credentials to that one, but I went to it because that was a good one. That was a good fight on the undercard.
Yeah, come on, Pat.
All right, so
but you got credentials. That don't count.
Nobody goes to fight for undercards, man.
All right, so
went to Superman's last win, and they had like Alvarez and Pascal on the undercard. That was
real quick. I mean, I went to see Beterbiev on a Lara undercard, and as we all know, infamously, I dipped during the Lara fight, and shout out to Beterbiev, who's going to fight is it this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend. It's the alternative to if you don't want to watch DAZN. You get to see.
So tape that fight after and watch it after the DAZN fights.
For the Canelo.
Yeah.
That's the only reason anybody's tuning in to the DAZN fight. I know Danny Jacobs is the B side in the fight, but at the end of the day, there's his stardom. Like Keyshawn Johnson said, you a flashlight, I'm a star. That's what Canelo Jacobs is. It's all about Canelo.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's
got you, yo. But shit.
In New York.
Got y'all. But shit, let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. And we're gonna reconvene soon. And we're gonna talk about King Sora as well, relinquishing that belt. But yeah, man, go ahead and wrap it up. Smoke, you already know who I am. Bruising Boxing, the Golden Voice. That's where you can find me on all social media platforms. And go ahead and swing around the room.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke at Free Smoke Boxing. Yeah, King Sora got his ass beat by Estrada this weekend, and I was really surprised. I think it'll start the downfall of King Sora because he looked so confused throughout the fight. But anyway, those people with Cinco miles coming up, have a safe weekend. Tune into boxing, and yeah, it's your boy Smoke.
Yo, what up, yo? It's Pat Scorpion, the New England representative. And the only thing I gotta say is I gotta do a rest in peace to John Singleton. I mean, if you grew up in the '90s, man, his movies were a staple. His movies were a staple to a lot of things going on there. I mean, especially like Higher Learning and Boys in the Hood, and then Rosewood pissed me off. Because it was just the content was so raw. You know what I'm saying? But John Singleton, man, that was one hell of a director, one hell of a talent, man.
No doubt.
And then, like I said, only 51 years old, man, having a stroke, man. And like I said, black men out there, watch your health, man. Like I said, you just never know when shit creeps up on you, man. Rest in peace.
Yep.
What up, y'all? What up, y'all? This is your boy P. You already know where you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bodega Boxing. And just like Pat said, rest in peace to John Singleton. Boys in the Hood will always be a classic to me. I might just go home and watch that when I get home. So, yeah.
What up, y'all? That's your boy News, representing Ringside Rave all day. Y'all know what it is with me, man. Yeah, like my fella said, RIP to John Singleton, man. We bringing up Boys in the Hood. That man wrote that movie at 23 years old. That's ridiculous. People can't even
Mhm.
give me a hot punchline at 23 years old in 2019. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, this man wrote a classic movie at 23 years old. So shout out to him. Salute to his family and all them. Our thoughts and prayers. At the end of the day, that's a legend. Um, as far as everything else, I like to salute my brothers for coming out, having a drink, having a smoke with me.
Hey,
We'll be back. I actually want to. Let me see. I want to say be back tomorrow, but we'll see how I go. Like, I don't know. We'll see how I go, y'all. But at the end of the day, thank y'all for tuning in. It's another wonderful episode of the Fade Hour. It's your boy News. We out.
one.
One.
Yeah. Yeah.